So we all at some point have to say sorry about something. We've all said something that we didn't mean to say. We've done things that were unintentional. We've hurt someone's feelings. If you've ever been put in a position where you have to apologize for your actions, I am right there with you. So it's interesting because recently in a Love Squad event, we got into the conversation of women always having to apologize. And now I do want to put a disclaimer that that is definitely separate and it was a separate conversation, but it did get my wheels turning and I want to share this. Welcome to the Basics of Bossing Up. I am Allie Love. Well, we discuss basic principles in order to create the lives we want. So I'm sorry. Always saying you're sorry sometimes does feel like, oh my God, am I a failure? Why do I keep messing up? Do people like me? Am I acceptable? And those are really common things to feel. And I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't feel that way, but acknowledge that those feelings are pretty universal. In a recent conversation, like I said, I referred to a Love Squad event about having to apologize and when is it necessary. There's two things I want to say. One, many of us can get into a space where we are apologizing unbeknownst and unaware that we are apologizing for just who we are. So if you respond or react or if you do something and you get a bit nervous or overwhelmed, our natural inclination can be to say, oh, I'm sorry. However, and before I go into the however, that is totally fair, but acknowledge that that's something that you do and recognize that you don't have to apologize for your actions if they're not offending, hurting, or if anyone hasn't vocalized that that they have been offended or taken offense of anything you've done. Now, when you do say sorry in situations, whether it's at work, building a business, an employee, at home, your family, your kids, strangers on the street, truly mean the sorries that you say. And the reason I say this is because a lot of us can get caught up in saying, I'm sorry, or I apologize, just to make someone else feel good, or in most cases, to make sure that we feel good about ourselves, that we are liked. And what I have been priding myself on, and not priding myself on, but I guess more so just opening up my eyes and being aware of when do I say things that I mean? When do I react the way that I mean and intend it? And when are those things unintentionally received and has offended someone? And those are the conversations and internal dialogue that I encourage you to have. So try to break the habit of always apologizing just for the state of being. Writing an email that may seem like you are opposing someone else's views in a very kind way, not in a nice way, but in a kind way and in a just, fair way is okay. It is okay to do so without having to apologize for who you are, what you think, and what you believe. So there's a way to articulate yourself, create some confrontation, create some dissonance, some discourse in terms of, this is what I believe, this is what you believe. Let's kind of talk it through without it coming from an ill will or ill-intended place. That is different than if you have offended someone, even if you don't know that you've offended that person, even if you don't think you've offended that person, and even if you feel like in the back of your mind, I'm just being me, what's the problem? I would say ask yourself those questions. Ask yourself, if you have offended someone, how can you reconcile it? 2, ask them how you offended them. Help them help you shape the gray areas between what you say, your intentions, and how people are receiving you. Help, and I was talking about this in Love Squad, crowdsource, right? Ask for information, ask for feedback. So this all came up through a couple incidents, and it's just like so funny how God and the universe and everything, just like you ask for something and then you receive it. It's like when you are when you're holding yourself accountable, things can get really challenging, and challenging uncomfortably so. And in this position, I would say like I am a little bit like antsy in terms of like where I am, and also like a little uncomfortable in where I am in my growth process. But I'm totally open. And whenever I have offended someone or said something or done something, and I may not recognize it, which is most cases the position that many of us are in, and it's brought to your attention, I would strongly encourage you to review, consider, maybe replay the incident in your head. If you don't have anything to pinpoint, please ask or try to reconcile it by asking for some advice, some input on how that happens. And then from there, you take it away, digest it. And of course, you don't want to change everything about yourself anytime anyone says anything, but you want to make sure you're giving your full attention to that feedback. And then the other thing, again, the other side of it is not to apologize for the sake of apologizing, for the sake of just being who you are. in any situation. Then understanding those two, and I hope that I tried to clarify and distinguish the difference between the two in the basics of bossing up, because I only have 5 minutes, but I just wanted to come out and talk about those things, because apologizing actually came up. I've done this week about 5 different conversations, and it came up 4 times, and it was come up in these things. So I just wanted to put it out there.